Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. It is October 19th. Just happens to be my brother Steve's birthday today, so happy birthday to my brother Steve. And as of just a moment ago, we were 2 subscribers away from having 100,000 subscribers. So yeah, I just checked it again, and it still says we're 2 subscribers away from having 100,000 subscribers. It's just like Heinz ketchup. It is making me wait. I'm an hour early today, but I got down to the shop real early this morning, about 5 a.m. to work on videos and finish up things before I leave to go to Mountain View, Arkansas. So I have nothing planned for my vlog today, absolutely nothing. I just thought we would ad-lib it and wing it and see if we can happen to hit the 100,000 subscribers live, since we have only 2 to go. Now, you know, what I'm fully expecting is that we'll hit 100 and then it'll drop by several, because there'll be those disgruntled people out there that I've banned over the years or whatever that are going to, think they're going to do something to me by unsubscribing. But if we do happen to hit the 100K, it doesn't matter if we drop below it, as long as we hit it. To me, that's the goal. And whether we hit it and drop immediately or whether we hit it and keep climbing, it doesn't matter as long as we hit it. And I think we will. We'll see. I refresh my count here every few seconds just to see if it's gone back up. We have 24 viewers already, even though it's only 7 a.m. Central Standard Time here. I just thought I'd kill some time and maybe sing a song or two. This has been a music channel after all. And I don't want this to sound like this is one of those syrupy, sweet songs or anything, but it does have a lot of parallels with my YouTube channel if you think about it and just draw the parallels in this song. I think this was an old Merle Haggard song. I heard it from Johnny Rodriguez, where I first fell in love with this song. I don't think I've ever done it live on the channel before, but we'll give it a shot. I've been throwing horseshoes over my left shoulder. I spent most all my life searching for that 4-leaf clover, yet you ran with me, chasing my rainbow. And honey, I love you true. That's the way love goes. That's the way love goes, babe. That's the music God made for the whole wide world to sing. It never gets old, it only grows. Losing makes me sorry. You say, honey, don't worry. And honey, I love you true. That's the way love goes. And honey, I love you true. That's the way love goes. Yeah, that was a good old song. Merle Haggard, I think he wrote that, and even if he didn't, he wrote so many wonderful songs. Merle Haggard's always been my biggest hero when it comes to country music. Had I lived during the Hank Williams time, maybe Hank would have been, but boy, I'll tell you what, Merle Haggard was something else. And, I've told the story several times on the channel before, but we opened for a lot of country stars in the mid-90s. Quite a few country stars, actually. I can't even hardly name them all. There were so many. Charlie Daniels probably being the biggest one in terms of crowd, for sure. Definitely. there was like 9,600 people they estimated in the audience. The stage was over 100 feet long and 30 feet high, and speakers the full width of the stage and the height of the stage. It was unbelievable. I went up on that stage and just touched the mandolin, and it went boom! It just blew out. It was unbelievable how loud it was. It was unbelievable. But when we opened for Merle, even as thrilling as that big one was for Charlie Daniels, when we opened for Merle Haggard, that was the cream of the crop for me. The people that we were doing our sound check before the show, and they came up to me and they said, hey, we've got a steak dinner for you guys backstage, and just go back there and help yourselves. And I said, oh, that's awesome. So I tell the band, and ordinarily the band would have run over me to get back there. I mean, ordinarily they would have. And not a single one of them went back there. And I went back there. I thought, well, I'm going to go back there and get a steak, And so I did. I got my steak and my whatever the drink was, and just sat down at this little round table. It wasn't very big at all, 3 feet across at the biggest. And I just said, I don't even think I took my first bite. And in walks Merle. And Merle, he walks over to the table and he gets him his steak and his, food and everything. He comes over to the table and he says, "Can I sit with you?" And I said, yeah. So I'm not making this up. It seems like a fairyland dream to me. Anyway, he sat down, and just Merle Haggard and myself sat there and ate our dinner, and we sat there for about nearly 50 minutes. Almost an hour, and just talked and had a great time. He was so kind, and it was wonderful, just wonderful. Oh, the love you promised to be mine forever. Well, I would have bet my bottom dollar on. Well, it sure turned out to be short forever. For just once I turned my back and you were gone. And from now on, all my friends are gonna be strangers. I'm all through ever trusting anyone. The only thing I can count on now are my fingers. I was a fool believing in you, now you are gone. It amazes me not knowing any better than to think I'd find a love that could be true. Well, I should be taken out, tired and feathered, when I let myself be taken in by you. And from now on, all my friends are gonna be strangers. I'm all through ever trusting anyone. The only thing I can count on now are my fingers. I was a fool believing in you, now you are gone. I was a fool believing in you, now you are gone. That was the one he named his band after, Stranger. His band was called The Strangers, and that was his first number one hit that he, I think the hit was around 1957, 58, somewhere in there. I don't think he actually wrote that song. I think that was written by one of the country women stars at the time, I think. That's a story I remember, but I'm not 100% sure of that either. Everything I know for sure, I barely know for sure. So let's see. 100,000 right there. Bingo. It's there. We hit it. I got to take a screen print. How do I do a screen print? I don't even know if I know how, but I got to get a screen print of that. I'm hitting control print screen. I hope that works. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta find a way to print that screen. Print. Will it work? Will it work? Will it work? Yes, it's going to work. Yes, it is. Hot dog. I'm going to blow it up big and print it again. You don't get to do this more than once. So let's see here. Cool. That was it right there. We hit it. Exactly 100,000. It says it on the screen there. Woohoo! Oh, yeah, it's just a number, and it, and a lot of people wouldn't think anything of it, but when you work 10 years to get someplace, it's pretty cool that you finally hit it. We got 52 viewers on here right now. I don't even know if this is in tune. I haven't even touched it for the last week or so, so I don't even know if it's in tune. It's close enough for who it's for. Meaning that it's for me, not for you. First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing, had a youngin's dream of growing up to ride. What a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. One and only from a family meek and mild, my mama seemed to know what lay in store. In spite of all my Sunday learning, toward the bed I kept on turning, till Mama couldn't hold me anymore. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading I denied. Leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Dear old daddy rest his soul, we left my mom a heavy load. She tried so very hard to fill his shoes. She was working hours without rest, she wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading I denied. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Yes, that leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Another Merle Haggard song. Of course, I was jazzing that one up there a little faster than old Merle did it. We do it in bluegrass, and we play it quite a bit faster and have the banjo driving behind that and all that good stuff. Oh, let's see here. You just watch this for a second. I'll go get those printouts. Well, I hate to cut her off because I love to hear Renee sing. Renee was a big part of my music for quite a long time. She was in the band. She played the bass. And did a lot of gigs with Renee, and Renee was Emery's mother. And if you don't know who Emery is, Emery's my daughter-in-law. And so we always referred to ourselves as outlaws on stage instead of in-laws. Anyway, Renee passed away of brain cancer. It was terrible. There it is, right there. 100,000 subscribers. So there you go. I got that. I'll probably have to frame that. So anyway, it's a done deal now. Let's go look at some comments here. The first comment I see before we went live was howdy from Edvin in Norway. Hello, Edvin. Newt Edvin. Edvin's the last name. I was thinking that was the first name, but I'm a little too excited right now, Newt. Let's see. The Howdy says, "Hope you." Well, that is Howdy. He says, "I hope you get your 100K." So that was his second comment there. Christy Ledger. There once was a man named Jerry. His music taste was quite merry. He'd sing till he'd drop in his luthier shop, sharing melodies that were legendary. Well, thank you very kindly there, Christy. That's very nice of you. The limerick I wrote is to celebrate your 100K from Victor and Christy in Moncton. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I didn't recognize who you were till you said that. So thank you very much. Very awesome. Very awesome. I wish I had a way to print that real easy. Maybe I can print screen that too. Bear with me a second here. Let's see if I can do that. It doesn't look like it's going to let me on that one. It's a different program, unfortunately, where that's at. Maybe I can copy it. I don't know if it'll let me copy it or not. That's pretty cute. I like that. I don't know if it will let me do that or not. I don't think it will. It's not. I don't think so. No. Yeah, I don't know. I hope I can get back to that and save that later. But thank you very kindly. If you don't mind, send that to me in an email. That way I'll have it for sure. rosastringworks@gmail.com. And tell Victor I said hi. We met them up in Canada when we took our Canada driving trip, and it was so cool to meet them up there. And Victor had a great shop, and Victor's a talented guy. He restored cars and made cars, and I mean just all kinds of stuff. I mean just everything you could think of. And he built his own thickness sander and had a really cool shop. So I really enjoyed my stay up there. It was one of the highlights of our Canada trip. Paul Walton is the first one to ring in after we went live. He says, "Good morning from Central Florida, Christia Thomason." Woo, good morning. M-A-A, and I can't pronounce all those names. I'm sorry. But thank you for tuning in here. Jeff Puris, congratulations on soon to be 100K subs. Yeah, we did that. We did it. So even if it drops down now, we did it. And that's awesome. Yep. And Charles Salkowitz is checking in there, and it scrolled up on me. I'm trying to find where we were there. David Tharp, howdy. JH586. I'm trying to subscribe with my other account. Well, you may have just been the one that put me over. I don't know. Yes, that's a Merle Haggard song. Well, thank you. Tom Armstrong, why would God give those Chapman brothers so much talent? Doesn't seem fair. Oh, man, those guys are just phenomenal. I mean, I don't even think they realize how good they are. I mean, they seriously are. I mean, they take just like I was watching their shop talk, I think it was yesterday. And somebody asked him to do a song, and it was obvious he'd never done it before. And it was City of New Orleans. Now, that's not an easy song. That's a really, really, really hard song. If you don't know, I mean, there's people that do it the easy way, and leave out half the chords. But he wasn't leaving out the chords. Now, he didn't hit every chord perfectly either, but unbelievable how good he did on just live and trying it. You know what I mean? Those guys are just crazy good. And they had Liz on there yesterday too. singing. That girl can sing too. Now, seriously telling you, that girl can sing. She's a great talent also. I think she just works in the store there, but man, she's good. She's really good. I'd pay to go listen to her. Anyway, they're just all really super talented. It's just unbelievable. And my story with John, the guitar playing brother, was he was about 10 years old and he was already playing his guitar and just tearing it up. And I had been jamming with some of Doyle Lawson's band members that day. In fact, I was in the hall of this. Well, it was at a college, but it was in the Columbia College special. At least they have a big segment devoted to horses and I don't know everything. It's just like livestock. They have like a veterinarian program or something. I don't really know the whole story behind it. But anyway, we were in that section of the college, and they were having a bluegrass festival there. I think in the I don't know, writing area or something. Anyway, we were in the hallway there jamming. I was jamming with these Doyle Lawson's band members. And man, I was just really having a great time. It was Barry Abernathy, and I don't remember the other guys' names. But as I was leaving that, those guys were still there. I went out on the parking lot and I was heading to my car, and I ran across John, and he was out there by himself playing his guitar, and he was tearing it up. He was 10 years old. I said, boy, come with me. I grabbed that kid. I took him down and introduced him to Barry Abernathy and those guys, and he could already keep up. I'm seriously telling you, he was one talented young man. Just unbelievable how good those guys are. And if you don't know who we're talking about the Chapmans. They've got, you can hear some of their music out on YouTube. And they have the acoustic shop in Springfield, Missouri, a great place to buy musical instruments and things. I can't speak highly enough of all of them. They're all really, really great. And even, like a lot of times the bass player doesn't get any credit. I'm telling you, Jason, their bass player, is killer. Just killer on the bass. Just killer. He's unbelievable. Okay, moving on. Christia Thomason. Let's see. Gordon Agee was there. Christia Thomason was next one. Subscriber count check time. Fingers crossed. Yep. Well, we did it. Dean Barnes. Yeah, finally couldn't happen to a nicer. Well, thank you. Now take it easy on the dad talk. He made you what you are today. Yeah, you're right about that. I've said it before, Dean. I don't mean to knock him. He wasn't educated. He did the best he could, He had a rough life. He was on his own from the time he was 12. And quite honestly, and I'm not just saying this, quite honestly, that's why I took all the electives in psychology when I was going through night school. Anytime I could take an elective, I took it in psychology. I wanted to understand him and understand what had happened to me. And it was the best thing I ever did, I think, was taking all those classes. And the reason I didn't want to go see a psychiatrist or psychologist, now I hope I don't offend the people listening here, but quite honestly, every one of those guys I've ever met has been just a little bit woohoo. Yeah, and I knew several of them, believe me. I just wanted to know the theories. I didn't want to hear it from those guys. Sorry if that offends you, but that's pretty much was my experience. It's kind of like the lawyers. I'm sure there's good lawyers out there, but I haven't met one yet. So, again, if you're a lawyer, I don't mean to offend you, but that's just the reality of the situation. You know me, I don't lie about stuff. I just tell you like I see it. Daniel, 100K baby. Daniel, congrats, Jerry. It's been a long road. Yep, it has. Christia Thomason, hooray, hit it. Yep. Again, can't wait to see that badge in the workshop. Yep, I'm looking forward to that too. Now, of course, I have to do all that application thing to get that and all that good stuff, but that'll come. I ain't worried about that part of it. It's going to be neat to get it, but that part there, that's kind of like the after dressing or whatever, or the dessert, I guess you'd say, because hitting it was the big goal, and we did it. Tom Armstrong, congratulations. Charles Sakowitz, congratulations. JH586, congrats. Wish you many more. Bill Roach, awesome. Juror Bowles, congrats, Jerry, on the 100K. Well deserved. Thank you. Fred Yamamoto, he's got a little, I guess you'd call that a dragon there. Paul Walton, congratulations. Francisco Chirinos, a big hug from Lima, Peru. Cool. Seriously, you're going to think I'm making this up, but I'm not lying to you. I was watching a documentary on Peru this morning at 4 a.m. I really was. I watched that until I came down to the shop. Peru looks like a wonderful country. It just looks awesome. It really does. And all the old ancient history that's there too is just so cool. So thanks for commenting here this morning. Peter Fagley, and again, I'm not making that up. I really was watching a documentary on Peru this morning. It seems like it's just too coincidental that here we have a person checking in from Peru. Peter Fagley, congratulations, Jerry. You have earned every subscriber. Thank you. Christia Thompson, way to go, chatsters. Alaskan Jade, thumbs up. Nancy Milwaukee, I'm not sure I've ever pronounced your name right, and I'm sorry. Congrats. Daniel, what a lovely song for this occasion. Thank you. Francisco says, big fan. Well, thank you. Gotta Fly Lee, congrats, Jerry. Think you had about 48,000 when I found you. Okay, well, cool. Dogfather61, congrats from UK. Yeah, and everybody's talking thumbs up there, so thank you very much. And Matt Tomlin. There's just so many names. Mike Barnett, Harley Handler, Matt Tomlin, the Dirty Knobs, congratulations. Theory, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. And Turtley, Carolyn Fike, the Dirty Knobs, Hillbilly in Philippines. Congratulations. Walt Willard, Eddie Turner. Congrats, Carolyn Fike. Daniel. Yep. Please hit the thumbs up. That's what it says. Well, I'm really excited. I heard somebody pull up right now. I have a feeling that might be JR. No, it's Sue. It's my wife, Sue. Maybe we'll get her on camera. I doubt it, but maybe we will. Maybe she's coming in. I'm not sure. But anyway, come on, get on camera. You might as well. Come on. No, everybody always wants to see you on camera, so just come over and say hi. Come on. I printed it out. We made it. So there you go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Huh?
It's exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. You know, when you work for 10 years trying to get something, and, you know, several years ago, even when Caleb was here, we thought, boy, it's growing so fast. It was like growing at 10,000 in a month, you know, and you think, well, it's going to hit it now. And then it didn't. So it's crazy. You're leaving now? Wow. Sue's heading out to the doctor. She's had some issues. You know, I've mentioned to you, she had a pretty rough way to go. She had some cancer and all kinds of things, and she's had complications from that for years now. And I don't know how she goes and does all the things she does. It's just amazing. I'd be humped up over in the corner crying, you know, if it were me. She's much tougher than I am. Oh, I don't know. Let's see here. On the banks of the river, where the willows hang down. The wild birds all warble with a low moaning sound. Down in the hollow where the water runs cold, it was there I first listened to the lies that you told. I lie on my bed and I see your sweet face. The past I remember, time cannot erase. The letter you wrote me, it was written in shame. And I know that your conscience still echoes my name. The nights are so long, Lord, sorrow runs deep. Nothing is worse than a night without sleep. I walk out alone and I look at the sky, too empty to sing, too lonesome to cry. If the ladies were blackbirds, if the ladies were thrushes, I'd lie there for hours in the chilly cold marshes. If the ladies were squirrels with their high bushy tails, I'd fill up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. Oh, that's just another good old bluegrass number called Rock, Salt, and Nails. Not one of those easy ones to play because it's got the minors in it and all that jumping around stuff that it does. But it's just a fun song. You know, it's one of those songs that's the musicians, you know, like to sing and play. I don't think the audience cares for that one all that much. I mean, really, I don't. You don't hardly ever get any applause when you're done with that song. But the musicians all really like to play it and sing it. It's just a fun tune. I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you'll wait for me and pray. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Oh dear mother, I hurt you so, and I've been cruel to you, I know. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you'll wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Yes, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Well, there you have it. The old Calaboose song. That's a great old bluegrass tune, too. I have always enjoyed that song. Let's see here. Praying for your wife. Well, thank you. Yeah, you'd be surprised what she's been through. Let's see. Trying to understand this here. It says, okay, this is Sailing Ravening. It says, your video on 77 Tok 12 string conversion to bolt-on neck reset taught me what I needed to do. The same to my 77 Tok. She played out at an open mic last night. Thank you and congratulations. Well, good. See, and that's probably been my greatest reward is all the people that have told me thanks over the years. And there's been, I'm not kidding when I say thousands. There's been thousands of people said, you showed me how to fix this or you showed me how to fix that. Yeah, Homestead Horsemanship, you'll get there too with Oliver. Yeah, he's almost there. He's over 90,000 already. James Crabtree, congratulations, Jerry. You sure deserve it. Thank you. Yeah, that's probably been my best, my greatest reward is how many people have told me thanks. Let's see, what else? I'd play instrumentals, except I just can't. It just doesn't work so good anymore. I can barely do what I'm doing. The chords, there's times I can just play, no problem at all, and then the next minute it hurts so bad I can't hardly hold the chord. Here's the one we played for all the kids yesterday. They just love this song. It's because it's a ghost song. I was driving down a lonely road on a dark and stormy night when a little girl by the roadside showed up in my headlight. Well, I stopped. She crawled in the back and in a shaky tone she said, my name is Mary, please won't you take me home? And she must have been so frightened alone there in the night. There was something strange about her, for her face was deathly white. She sat there pale and quiet in the backseat all alone. And I never will forget that night I took Mary home. I pulled into the driveway where she told me to go. I got out to help her from the car. Then I opened up the door. But I just could not believe my eyes, for the back seat was bare. And I looked all around the car, but Mary wasn't there. Then a light shone from the front porch. Someone opened up the door. And I asked about the little girl that I was searching for. The lady gently smiled as she brushed a tear away. And she said, it sure was nice of you to go out of your way. But 13 years ago tonight, in a wreck just down the road, my darling Mary lost her life, and we miss her so. Thank you for your trouble and the kindness you have shown. You're the 13th one that's been here, bringing Mary home. Or something like that. I think John Duffy wrote that song, and John Duffy was always one of my heroes too. Been playing along with you on guitar in D-A-D-E-A-D tuning. Okay, sounds really good. Well, see, there you go. You are already way ahead of me, because I don't know how to retune and play in any other thing other than your standard stuff. That's all I know about. Never tried anything else, honestly. Well, that's not 100% true. I did retune the mandolin one time the way that Bill Monroe retuned to play Get Up John. And I could play it, and it worked out pretty cool. It was a pretty cool tune, but it was too much trouble to keep a mandolin tuned with all those different weird notes. Almost every string was tuned a little different. I can't remember exactly how it was done now, but it was quite different. Prolo Tomasi says, 100K, congratulations. Have you heard that Gibson was remaking the Lloyd Loar mandolins for $25,000 a pop? Yours is nicer by far. Well, thank you. Well, you know, Gibson, I'm not knocking anybody. You know, Gibson, when they want to, they can really make a mandolin. Now, there's no doubt about that. They can really make a mandolin. There's just no question about it. There were some times when they didn't really want to. It didn't seem like to me. And that was true with some of their guitars and things, you know. I don't really knock the Gibson company like a lot of people do. I think they had some really highlights and some really high points, but they also did some really stupid things. I mean, it's just the way it is. I ain't going to lie to you about any of it. They like putting plastic bridges on some of their guitars and stupid stuff like that. And it was all, I'm sure, because some knucklehead took over and decided he was going to find a way to cut the costs and make $1 million. And it just wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good decision. But when they want to make a good mandolin, they can make a good mandolin. There ain't no doubt about that. And for those of you who may be new, you may not realize, I did take my uncle's mandolin apart. His name was Don Brown. He had a great Lloyd Loar mandolin. Just an absolute tip-top one. I've had some in the shop where I felt like they didn't sound all that good at all, Lloyd Loar mandolins. But my uncle's was killer. Just flat killer. It was one of the very, very best. And I am not exaggerating when I say that, and not just because it was my uncle. I did one time at the Calvin Opera House in Washington, Missouri. Bill Monroe was on stage. And whenever he was around, he would have my uncle come up on stage and play with him, play music with him, you know. And Anyway, Bill was, cutting down on some tune, and then he asked Don to step up to the mic and, take a break, And Don came up there, and I am not exaggerating. Don's lore made Bill's lore sound like Bill was playing a rubber band, a tin can with rubber bands. I'm not kidding you. By comparison, that's what it sounded like. Don's mandolin blew Bill's away, and it wasn't even my opinion. The whole opera house went nuts when Don took his break, because the power was there, the volume, the clarity, it just came through. It was unbelievable. And they were playing on the same mic. So, all things were more or less equal, It was dramatically better. So I took that mandolin apart back in the 90s because Don had sent it back to Gibson on 3 different occasions. And the neck was pulling up, or the back was pulling loose. Now, honestly, in the early 90s, I told Don, and I told him for 3 years, I said, look, I'm not taking that mandolin. I'm not going to do it. I'm not qualified, I wasn't at that time. I'd only been doing it a few years, and I'd learned everything on my own and, all that stuff. So I just didn't want to do it. Well, after he had sent it back to Gibson 3 different times, and all they did was daub more hide glue in there, and that's all they did was just stick more hide glue in there, which ain't going to hold. I don't care what you say. You can believe what you want, but hide glue ain't going to hold. It holds for a while. Don't get me wrong. If you got a good, clean joint and you put hide glue in there, it's going to hold for a while. Might hold 50 years, but it's going to come apart. Well, when you put hide glue on top of hide glue, it ain't going to hold. Just ain't going to do it. So he finally, after 3 years of me refusing to take his mandolin, he says, son, I want you to take it. He says, I know you will do it right. I said, Don, I don't want to do it. And he finally just put it in my car. He says, take it with you and fix it. I said, Don, I've got to, if I'm going to fix it, I'm going to do it right. And I said, the only way to do it right is I have to take it apart. And he jumps in my face. I'm seriously telling you. Take a Lord Gibson apart? Are you nuts? I said, well, I don't have to take it apart. I can do just exactly what Gibson's been doing. I can just daub some glue back in there if that's what you want. But I said, in a month, it's going to come apart again. I said, in order to fix it where it'll never come apart again, I have to take it apart. And I have to clean it and glue it back together. He says, oh, okay, fix it. So that's what I did. Now, again, because of my inexperience at the time, I didn't know that the neck was actually slightly loose in the block also. Now, I didn't know that. And I didn't see that. I didn't, I monkeyed with it. I looked at it and everything. But apparently the neck was slightly loose in the block. Now, it didn't show up that way when I fixed it. Okay, that's all I can tell you. And so I fixed it and, took it apart and cleaned out all the joints in here. And, of course, while I had it apart, Mama didn't raise no fool. I measured it in thousands of inches all over. And 100% everywhere I could measure it, I measured it in thousands of inches and wrote all those dimensions down. So I put it back together, and he played it the rest of his life, another about 12 or so years probably, and it never gave him any more trouble. And then Frank Ray, about, another 10 or so years later after that, so about 20 some years later, he called me up and quizzed me about how I fixed it. And, and he's one of the old school guys, and he wasn't enthused that I didn't use hide glue when I put it back together. I said, well, Frank, I'm telling you for sure, you can take it apart just like hide glue. In fact, you can take it apart probably way more consistently. I said, it takes a certain amount of heat, probably takes just a little bit more heat and a little bit more moisture to get it apart than it would with hide glue, but it'll come apart just fine. So anyway, I don't know what all became of that, but apparently when it was coming apart on him, it wasn't the same place where it came apart on Don. I just want to be clear. It was coming apart in the actual neck joint. Now, when it was coming apart on Don, it was this seam here that was coming apart. It was just this seam. That was all that we knew about. So that's what I fixed, basically, was the back seam. But apparently it was loosened up in the neck. Now, that it could also be that happened afterward. I mean, I don't even know that was loose when I did it, because as far as I could tell, there was nothing else wrong with the mandolin when I fixed it. I'm just saying it could have been loose at the time, and I just didn't have the real experience to know that. So I'm just trying to be honest and clear with everybody how that actually came down. But Don was very, very, very happy with it after I fixed it, and he played it the rest of his life and loved it, just loved it. So that was my goal, and I met my goal on that. So now the mandolin, the way I understand it now, is owned by a bus driver, a guy that owns a bunch of those tour buses that the stars rent or lease. Apparently, the owner of that company owns the mandolin now, and he has loaned it to the Malpass brothers. I don't know if I'm saying their name right. Malpass, I think. Anyway, those brothers in country music, and he travels with them on the bus or whatever, I guess to keep tabs on the mandolin, more or less, because it's an expensive mandolin. It really is. And anyway, those guys are playing it now, and some of my friends have heard them playing it on stage and have told me about it. So, quite a story on that mandolin. Truly, honestly, no exaggeration, it was one of the very best Lloyd Loar mandolins ever. It really was. It just, by coincidence, happened to be owned by my uncle. And all of my mandolins since then have been carved to those specs, as close to the 1,000th of an inch as I can get. And I can get pretty close. And that's why all my mandolins are loud and clear. I mean, I don't mean to brag on them too much, but I don't really take too much credit for it. I just built it to the exact same size and shape. Now, there are some differences in my mandolins, and I'll just be clear about that. And mainly because I just didn't want to copy. I carve a much higher deal in here, and mine's more detailed in here, and I wanted to do that. And then I also, now this one was before I started. This one, by the way, this one's not carved to the Loar specs. This one just happens to be a redwood top, which what makes it sound good. But this one was before I took that Loar apart. And all the ones since then, I've also carved a rose in the back. So anyway, just want to be clear that this one is not a Loar copy exactly. Just was my best guess at what a Loar was. And quite honestly, when I took those measurements on all the mandolins I had built before I took that one apart, I wasn't that far off. I was pretty close. There were several significant places, though, where I was different. And so I, started carving all mine to those exact same specs. Well, it's 7:52. I thought I'd go till 8 o'clock this morning. Instead of starting at 8, I thought I'd end at 8. And again, thank you all for sharing my wonderful day here, the 100,000 subscriber mark. Presently, it looks like we have 133 viewers at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and just switch this over to live chat again from the top chat just to see if I see a difference. I still haven't figured out why that matters or what the difference is. Really, I don't see any difference, honestly. Cup of Cool. Jerry, 100,000. I'm so happy for you. You make my day every day, and I hope you keep going as long as you can. Well, thank you very much. Bruce Hines, good morning, Jerry. Hope you get your 100,000. Yeah, we got it. We got it. I got my proof right there. 100,000. You see the big number right there? I'm pretty proud of that number right there. I am going to frame this piece here. Because you only get to do that one time. That's it. There's no second time on this. So, all right. Since I clicked that live chat, we got one comment after that. It looks like MFC 100,000. Wow, well done. I'm bad at reading. I don't know. Sometimes I really do think I have some form of dyslexia. I've never been diagnosed or anything, but I'm pretty sure I do. It's just almost for sure. It's really hard for me to read. It really is. I've never been a reader. when I was a kid, I got into some books for a little while, but man, it was more cumbersome than it was worth. Yeah, Bill Carter says, congrats, and Ron Melberg, congrats. Let's see, can I think of anything else I can maybe pull off here? In South Carolina, there are many tall pines. I remember the oak tree that we used to climb. But whenever I want you, I always pretend that I'm getting the feel of the hickory wind. I started out younger, had most everything, all the riches and pleasure. What else could life bring? But it makes me feel better each time it begins, calling me home, the hickory wind. It's a hard thing to find out. The trouble is real. In a faraway city with a faraway feel, but it makes me feel better each time it begins, calling me home to the hickory wind. And now when I'm lonesome, I always pretend that I'm getting the feel of the hickory wind. There you go, Hickory Wind, another beautiful song. Graham Parsons, I think. I don't know. I'm no expert on that stuff. Bill Mumbo, congrats, Jerry. Don't forget to tell JR loudly. No, I won't even say anything to him. Actually, he called me last night about, or he sent me a text, I guess it was. Well, he called too. I don't remember now. I get too confused. But anyway, I think he called last night also, and he said, he asked, what's your number? And I think at that time I was 18 away, so there you go. I'm curious to find out. I'm going to call it up here now and see if it's dropped back down. I don't care if it did, but I just want to see if it did, because I have a feeling there's probably some disgruntled people out there that'll drop it down just because they want to. But let's see. Nope, 106. 100,006. So we're on the way up. We're still going. Awesome. I'm so glad I caught it on 100,000, though. I'm really tickled I did that. I wasn't sure. I should have had that thought out, and, I wasn't really sure how to even capture that screen there. But fortunately, the printer worked for me on that. Let's see here. I got time for, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm going to just do one more of something, and I'm not even sure what it'll be. I guess I'll do the, I've been on a Luthier for about 40 years, and it took me 30 years to write this song. I've probably told this before too, but my brother Scott, he was a musical genius. He was 10 years old. He would play the piano, and when he started playing piano, well, that made me more interested to play music. So I'd play guitar while he was playing piano, and I tried to learn how to play fiddle, could never do that. But anyway, we were out on the back porch one day apparently, and I must have started writing this song. And the reason I say this is because I didn't remember it for a long time that this is what had happened. So really, I was about 18 years old, and I started writing the song. Well, then I forgot about it, and I'm now 28 years old. And now I'm really interested in getting into music and really making it a serious thing, because at that point I'd had that accident where I had kind of got out of the archery thing because of the accident I had with my shoulder. Well, anyway, so I'm around 28 years old now, and I'm really getting serious about playing music. And that was about the time my uncle heard me play the mandolin the first time and all that, But every time I would sit down to play music, that song that I had started writing when I was 18 was coming into my head, but I didn't know where it came from. I swear to you, I did not know where it came from. I was just hearing these words in my head, and I couldn't come up with the rest of the song. I thought, where did that come from, And it sounded like an old Marty Robbins song. It really did. It sounded just like Marty Robbins. So I bought everything Marty Robbins ever put out. Couldn't find the song. I wrote to different DJs. I wrote to the Marty Robbins fan club. I called, I had several DJ friends that were on radio stations around the St. Louis area, and I asked them, and no, but that sure does sound like an old Marty Robbins. Now, everybody that I asked said, no, I can't name the song, but it does sound like a Marty Robbins song. So now, fast forward. That was at 28. All the way through. Now I'm 48. I'm 48 years old. I'm still looking for this song. And this is no joke. So finally I think, maybe I've never asked my brother Scott. Maybe he'll know where it came from. So we were together one day, and I sang them as much of it as I knew. And I go, so do you know where it came from? He goes, well, yeah, you big blankety blankety blank 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 idiot. I know exactly where it came from. I go, you do? Where did it come from? He goes, you big idiot, you wrote it. He says, you don't remember sitting on the back porch? I was playing a piano and you were playing a guitar and you wrote that song? And I went, oh yeah. So after that big, long explanation, we're going to end the program with this song here. It's called From Where I Stand. And if you're playing along, it's in C, F, and G, and there is a D in it also, a 2-chord. The D is the 2-chord. From where I stand, I can see all the lights of the city. For one man to love one woman so much, it's a pity. From where I stand, I can see the cantina she goes to, where she's not supposed to, but goes anyway. From where I stand, I can hear the music and laughter. Camilla tells me that's what her young heart is after. But I see it differently. I see her there with a man. Camilla's lying. I see it from where I stand. From where I stand, I can see the smiles on their faces. The music plays on as I watch their tender embraces. From where I stand, I can see her dress as it's swaying, and it seems to be waving goodbye to me. From where I stand, I can hear the music and laughter. Camilla tells me that's what her young heart is after. But I see it differently. I see her there with a man. Camilla is lying, I see it from where I stand. Camilla is lying, I see it from where I stand. The 30-year song. Well, I hope I did something you enjoyed today, and thank you so very much for being a part of my 100,000 day, and for even more than that, subscribing and doing all the good things you've done over the years. I really, really do appreciate it. You just don't know how much I do appreciate it. Let me look at the last couple of comments, and then we'll conclude this thing here. Dottie Hildebrand says, I'll be sure to comment on JR's channel to let him know you beat him. That's just fine. Like I said, I'm not going to say anything about it to him. That's just not what I do typically. But I seriously, you really just don't know how glad I am to beat him, because truly I would never, ever have heard the end of it, because he's not like me in that regard. I would never have heard the end of it. Ronald Todd, congrats, Jerry. I know it's been a long time coming. You now doubly enjoy this long weekend. Yeah, I'm going to take off and go down and play music all weekend, and it's just going to be kind of a relief off my chest that we finally hit it. Yeah, Matt Tomlin, have a great day. Congrats. Lots of congrats coming in. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it, guys. Well, I'm going to let that be the end of it. Thank you again for being a big, big part of it. We will see you probably on Monday. And I do have a video I'll be releasing over the weekend, so be sure to watch for that. Thanks.